Judge Andre Colston thought he was moving into a nice, quiet neighborhood in Wilmington, North Carolina. He bought a 2-story brick house where he could relax after his long days at the courthouse. Andre was a friendly guy who waved at neighbors and kept his yard looking nice. But he had no idea that his neighbor across the street, Colleen Markham, would turn his life into a nightmare. Colleen was the HOA president, which meant she was in charge of making sure everyone followed the neighborhood rules. Some people thought she did a good job keeping things organized. Others thought she was way too strict about everything. She had a clipboard always tucked under her arm and acted like the HOA rulebook was the most important thing in the world. The trouble started over something really silly. Andre's porch light. One evening, while Andre was watering his plants, Colleen marched right up to him with her clipboard. She didn't even say hello. She just told him his porch light stayed on too late at night. Andre was polite and said he'd look into it. The light was for safety and turned off around midnight, but Colleen said the rules stated 11 p.m. That should have been the end of it, but Colleen wouldn't let it go. A week later, Andre got a letter saying his hedges were too tall. Then another letter about his mailbox being the wrong color. Andre thought it was funny at first. He even joked with his friend Marcus that maybe the neighborhood was too perfect, if these were the biggest problems. But the letters kept coming. If Andre parked his car a few inches too close to the curb, Colleen took photos. If he had friends over, she timed how long they stayed. She would stand across the street just staring at his house, looking for things to complain about. Other neighbors started noticing too. Linda Garvey, who lived 2 houses down, told Andre it was strange how Colleen only bothered him like this. Andre's sister Sharon came for dinner one night and saw a huge pile of complaint letters on his counter. She got worried and asked if this might be more than just rules. Andre wanted to stay calm and not assume the worst, but even he could see that Colleen's behavior was getting scary. By spring, everyone in the neighborhood could see that Colleen was obsessed with Andre. She would walk by his house, muttering things like, "He thinks he's better than everyone, and he doesn't belong here." When Andre tried talking to her directly, asking her to stop the constant complaints, Colleen got really nasty. She told him that his judge's robe wouldn't protect him in the neighborhood. At HOA meetings, Colleen would make mean comments about Andre in front of everyone. When other neighbors said nice things about how Andre helped people, like shoveling snow or fixing fences, Colleen would snap that good deeds didn't excuse rule violations. She kept saying that some people thought they were above the law because of their jobs. Andre installed security cameras around his house because his friends told him to protect himself. The cameras caught Colleen doing weird things, like standing outside his house at 2 a.m., writing in a notebook, as if she was studying his home in the middle of the night. Then came the night that changed everything. It was a hot, humid Thursday in July. Andre had just finished work and gone to bed. Around 2 a.m., he woke up smelling smoke. When he opened his bedroom door, thick gray smoke was already filling the hallway. His house was on fire. Andre called 911 and managed to escape with just his briefcase. He stood on the sidewalk in his pajamas, barefoot, watching his entire house burn down. All his memories, his late wife's things, his family photos, everything was turning to ash. Neighbors came running out to help and the fire department arrived, but it was too late to save the house. The fire investigators found evidence that someone had poured gasoline around Andre's fence and lit it on purpose. Security cameras from Andre's house and his neighbors' homes showed Colleen's car driving around the block right before the fire started. When police searched her garage, they found a gas can with the same type of fuel that was used to start the fire. 2 days later, police arrested Colleen. She didn't look ashamed or sorry. She held her chin up high, like she was proud of what she had done. Neighbors who watched her get arrested couldn't believe that someone they saw at HOA meetings had actually burned down a house. But here's where the story gets really crazy. Because of how court schedules work, the judge assigned to Colleen's trial was Andre himself, the same man whose house she had burned down. When Colleen walked into that courtroom in handcuffs and jail clothes, she came face to face with Andre, sitting at the judge's bench in his black robe. The whole courtroom gasped. Colleen's face went white, then she lifted her chin like she was challenging him. Andre stayed calm and professional, even though inside he must have been remembering the night his house burned down. Colleen's lawyer wanted Andre to step down from the case, saying it wasn't fair for the victim to also be the judge. But Andre decided to stay on the case. He said that if justice couldn't be tested when it was hardest, then what was it worth? The trial was packed with reporters and neighbors. Everyone wanted to see what would happen. The evidence against Colleen was overwhelming. Security footage, the gas can, neighbors who heard her making threats. But when her lawyer said she pleaded not guilty, Colleen actually smirked a little, like she thought she could still win somehow. Neighbors testified about how obsessed Colleen had become. Linda told the jury about Colleen pacing around Andre's house and muttering threats. Victor, Andre's friend, explained how he had warned Andre to be careful because Colleen seemed dangerous. The worst part was when they played Andre's 911 call in court. You could hear him coughing from the smoke, his voice shaky as he gave his address to the dispatcher. For just a moment, Colleen's face went pale, like maybe she realized how serious what she had done really was. The jury only took 4 hours to decide. They found Colleen guilty of arson, destruction of property, and harassment with hate crime charges. When the verdict was read, she shook her head and whispered, "No, this isn't right," like she still couldn't believe she was being held responsible. At sentencing, Andre had to decide Colleen's punishment. He looked at her directly and said she had burned down his home and destroyed years of memories because she couldn't see him as her equal. He told her that she had chosen hate and violence, and now she had to live with the consequences. Andre sentenced Colleen to 22 years in prison. After court, he told reporters that he had lost a house, but what everyone risked losing was bigger than just wood and brick. He said they all risked losing the idea that neighbors should look out for each other instead of tearing each other down. The neighborhood learned a hard lesson about what happens when small complaints and petty hatred are allowed to grow into something dangerous. Andre showed everyone that even when someone tries to destroy your life, you can still choose to do what's right instead of seeking revenge. Andre's house was rebuilt eventually, but the real damage, the broken trust and the fear that one neighbor could hate another so much, took much longer to heal. The story spread far beyond Wilmington, reminding people everywhere that hatred starts small but can quickly turn deadly if good people don't speak up and stop it.